Morning, everybody. My name is Ben Schrag. I'm one of the program directors. Thank you for being here today. I have a few things I want to say, but before we get started, I wanted to have the team introduce themselves. So if I can ask all my program director colleagues to get up. They always pretend like they're really put out by doing this. Look at them there. And actually, today, unlike previous times, we need to actually be on the stage because you will be on camera. So if everyone can join me up here. While they're assembling here, I just wanted to stress, again, like as Barry did, the kind of special nature of what we have here. Because we have this dedicated role of SBIR, STTR program director, we're able to pick this team of people who have experience both doing technical work, doing science and engineering. There's about 20 advanced degrees up on stage here. And there's about 15 startups, either as founders or as kind of officers. I don't know if we're all fit, actually. Not to mention, many dozens of patents and 200 years or so of actually running small technology companies. So I encourage you to get to know your program director and take advantage of their experience. The other thing that they've done that could be helpful to you is that over the last decade, this program has funded about 2,700 different small businesses, and they worked with most of those companies. And so they have, if they had no experience coming in, they have very quickly learned through pattern matching what can help a small business to become successful. So with that, I need to find a microphone. I guess I don't know if we don't have a portable microphone. I guess maybe people can take turns at the podium. Should we do that? You want to start, Merlin?
We're just debating that,
Go ahead.
You should go last.
We really carefully got on the side of the room, but I could have not worked out. I'm going to go blind.
All right, I get to start. Thank you, everybody. How are you? Good? You ready for an exciting day of fun-filled activities? And mind-numbing session after session till about 6. Okay. All right. How was the boot camp? Good? Ruth is the one who started it all. So you either praise her or blame her. All right. I'm Murali Nair. I take care of certain part of the portfolio, robotics, wireless technologies, sensors, and some energy and power management. What else do you need to know? Let's see. Let me say, I've been here quite long. In fact, I've forgotten what I did before I came to NSF. So if you really want to know, you read my bio and let me know. I want to close quickly with a story that may be inspiring to some of you. Recently, a few months ago, one of our grantees, they started with a phase 1, phase 2, phase 2B, started the phase 1 in, I think it was 2012, so it's 6 years ago. And they got recently acquired by another company, a large company, for over $300 million. So we've had some, quite a few of those kinds of successes, but what's so unusual about this particular case is that there's still a grantee, so we're expecting reports and a final report anyway. So that's kind of unusual that it's still part of NSF and they've already been acquired. So maybe some of you also get along that path. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Ruth Schumann. I'm a program director in the biological technologies area. I've been at NSF 9 years now, so quite a while. I wanted to start off by, again, just thanking you for your participation in the boot camp. The presentations yesterday were really outstanding. I had good reports from all of the instructors. Thank you for working so hard at it. I hope that you got something wonderful out of it. As I said, I think it's really a transformational experience, and I hope it really changes how you move forward with your business. Bennett asked us to say something useful. Thank you, Ben. Useful. And really, what I wanted to do is to echo what Barry had said. You know, Barry started off by saying that we've made an investment in you. We really have invested in you, and we want to make sure that you're successful. So we'd like to continue to invest in you by helping you through this phase 1 process and hoping you see you through to being successful in phase 2, and beyond that, commercializing your technology. As Merle said, we've had a lot of successful companies, especially in the last 5 years. We'd really like to see you join those ranks, and we're very, very excited. So don't hesitate to ask us for that help. We're all here to mentor you through that process, and again, good luck to you as you go through that process.
Good morning. I'm Linda Molnar. I recently joined NSF this past January as a program director after having a career in large companies, startups, my own and those of others, venture capital, previous stint in the federal government at the National Cancer Institute. I'm delighted to be part of this program. The NSF, SBIR, STTR program is the best across all the federal agencies. You are at the beginning of an amazing opportunity to have the opportunity to work with all of these program directors here and their expertise. You should feel free to draw upon any one of us that you think can help you. I am in charge of the advanced manufacturing and nanotechnology portfolio. In that portfolio for manufacturing, I focus on sustainability, both in the products that are being manufactured and the processes that are being used to manufacture them. This is important both for the health of our planet and for our own personal health. So we need to think about a little bit more about the long term. We also need to have a focus on American competitiveness in the manufacturing realm, and so that's something I'm also very passionate about. So again, we are making an investment in you. If I were to offer some advice, you know, entrepreneurship in my mind is a lifestyle. It's a choice that you make because you're passionate about something. You're an entrepreneur. You want to change the status quo. You want to make a difference. But you have to be able to take criticism, and you have to be coachable. You have to continue and keep doing the customer discovery that you learned in the boot camp, and maybe you've had also the good fortune to participate in our NSF I-Corps program. So good luck to you. Feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rick Schwartfeger. I'm a program director at NSF. I've been here about a little over 2 years, and I handle the semiconductors, photonics, and IoT portfolio. I think saying something useful is always challenging because that means different things to different people. What I really want to, I think, remind you of that you probably already know very clearly is that you're on a journey. And your journey is going to take you a lot of different places. I was on vacation the last 2 weeks and kind of reminded me of this. I hiked about 75 miles in the mountains of Colorado at 10,000 feet elevation over the last 13 days. And that's not unsimilar to a journey you guys are on because you're going to have a lot of highs and lows and good days and bad days. Some days you'll feel like hiking 15 miles and the next day you don't feel like doing that again. But you still get out of bed and do some more. Being in a startup or a small business, there are going to be challenges that are really tough to get over, and then there are going to be days that are so exciting that you don't know how you can live without them. My personal journey, I've worked for National Laboratory, I've worked for small private companies, I've worked for large corporations, and then I did my own startup. And I've got to say that the most by far rewarding and exciting and thrilling and challenging experience I had was with my own startup. And so I encourage you to appreciate every day that you go through this and don't take it for granted because hopefully this will be some of the most interesting times of your lives. And if you're extremely fortunate, it could also be the most rewarding financially and professionally. And even if things don't come out the way you expect in the end, you can still take that experience and move forward and gain a lot out of it. So I don't know if that's useful or not.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Atherton. I'm Program Director for the Information Technologies topic. In terms of useful things to say, there are a lot of things that could be said. I think, though, I'd like to echo some of the things that have already been said. In particular, I think the boot camp yesterday was great from what I saw of it anyway with my companies and some of the other companies. And I would urge you to ensure that yesterday is not the last day of your customer discovery activities. It's really critical. You know, I think for early stage companies like yourselves, and particularly for technologists, I think working to get the product market fit right is really critical, and it's very difficult. It's probably the most challenging thing you have to do at this point. And it's a moving target. I mean, customers change, markets change, competitive landscape changes. So it's the kind of thing you need to keep at. It never ends. It becomes more subtle as you progress, but it never ends. So I'd really encourage you to ensure that you take away from the boot camp the fact that customer discovery is really part of your, your entrepreneurial process going forward, and it shouldn't stop now. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Konsek, and my portfolio primarily covers advanced materials and instrumentation. Until very recently, I was an I-Core program director, and I know many of you through the I-Core program. It's great to see some familiar faces. Prior to joining NSF, I spent nearly 10 years at venture-backed startups, most recently in Silicon Valley, in Austin, Boston, and several years in Europe as well. My bit of useful advice, I'm sorry to throw a little bit of a pall over this morning's events. I have that effect on, as my colleagues maybe can attest. The primary failure mode for SBIR Phase 1 companies is lack of progress on the commercialization front of your endeavors. It's not technical problems that are going to trip you up. It's commercialization. And the boot camp is a wonderful introduction to the customer discovery process, but it's just that. It's an introduction. Continue that work. Continue your customer discovery. It absolutely is going to be a very effective method for you to make progress, especially in the capital-intensive endeavors that many of you are undertaking. So use that process, absolutely, to help guide you inform you on what you need to build, why you need to build it, and build just that. That's how you make progress, especially towards a Phase 2 award. Great to see you. I look forward to connecting a little later today.
Hello, everyone. My name's Henry An. I handle the biomedical technologies topic, covering materials for biomedical application, drug delivery platform, diagnostics, medical imaging, and pharmaceutical manufacturing. I've been here for a little bit over 2 years now, but I've been kind of working in this seed funding, seed investment field for about 14 years. Prior to that, I was with a biotech company, which since then was bought out by a company called Serologicals, which was bought out by Millipore, which was bought out by Merck. And as far as I know, there has not been any other buyout. In terms of something useful, in addition to what Steve said about this customer discovery exercise, I think it's, for most of the companies that I work with, the amount of money that we provide is not going to be anywhere near where you need to be to commercialize the technology. So I would like to encourage you to go out there and talk to potential investors, strategic partners, or whoever you might be able to recruit to help you along the way. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nancy Kamei, and I'm the Program Director in SBIR for Medical Devices and Digital Health. And as of the 1st of September, I'm also helping out as a Program Director on the I-Core program. So my background is that I helped build 4 Silicon Valley-based startups back in the 80s. And then I spent 20 years as an investor, both public equities and venture capital, and retired in 2012. So from 2012 until December of last year, I was just teaching I-Core for the NSF and the NIH and others. And then last December, I joined NSF as a full-time program director. So it's really hard to be the 10th person standing at the podium and say anything useful, I think. But to talk about your journey, the way I think about it is that you're really crossing over a threshold. And that threshold is really from being the smartest person in the room, which I think every single one of the people in this room have felt like they're the smartest person in the room most of your life. I mean, you're all really the most educated people we have in this country. But this journey is from being the smartest person in the room to being the most effective person in the room. And so I hope while you're here at this conference, you think about what does that mean? Because being the smartest person in the room might not get you where you want to go. But being the most effective founder or CEO or whatever your role is in your company will probably help you make your dreams come true. And as Linda said earlier, one of the #1 things investors are going to be looking for is that you're coachable. And maybe you've never been held up to a standard of being coachable before, but that's something you can definitely spend some time thinking about. What does that mean to be coachable for my investors? Thanks.
So I'll try not to take that as too much of a serious warning, being the last one. No. You were saying that being 10th was worse, but no, I'm just joking. So my name's Anna Brady Estevez. I'm really excited to be here today because the reason most of us come to work every day at NSF is because we're really excited about what you're doing. And I've worked on technology for a startup in the past. I've also been a venture investor and a Kauffman Fellow. And then I worked for many years as a director of strategy at Fortune 200 companies. But what is more exciting to me is the impact that you can all have. And I think the role that I bring to the table with that is less as a scientist and less of a strategist or a businesswoman, more as an American taxpayer. We're here to support you because this country is supporting you. And the taxpayers, people who in some cases have been successful, have had more opportunity, or who in many cases have had less opportunity, are getting behind you at this catalytic stage of your journey because we believe that what you can do can positively transform our country and the world. So that's why we're all here today. And as some of my colleagues referenced, it's a small amount of money, but it's a meaningful amount of money at this critical point in your journey. And what I would encourage you to do today is to really look at every day as how do you pull the resources out that are less visible? And I'll talk about it later on, but you're sitting here in probably the biggest, deepest, most diverse room of technology entrepreneurs and innovators. So my hypothesis is that is the greatest value in the room. It's not the $200 million that NSF puts out every year to startups. It's the value you can all create together. So think about how you're going to pull that value, and I'll touch upon that later. But I guess from the strategic standpoint, one of the reasons the boot camp is so important, as we say, we want you to be impactful in commercialization. So there's a lot of things that you don't know. And the plan's going to change. For us, the proposal is a tool for getting to know you, but that document dies. That's the current plan, and if you need to change that to be more effective, we're open to pivots. Talk to us about what you need to change to be more effective in developing your technology and your commercialization once you know what you need to know. And for the things that you don't know, sometimes it's, I'm listening to companies saying, well, we're getting a call from these folks, want to do this, getting this other call, everybody's interested in working together. You don't know the value your company is going to create or, what the path to growth is going to be. But the better you can take that, back of the envelope calculation of, well, what might the value, what might the path look like under these scenarios, it can help you understand where you can move fastest and who to focus on. But we're all really, really excited to be here with you today and looking forward to your success. So
we have one colleague who is stuck in traffic, Rajesh Mehta. Rajesh, you have to meet him I couldn't do him justice. He's fantastic to work with, and he's spent many years at NSF in various areas. Hopefully, if he comes out, maybe we can have him introduce himself at a break. But let me thank my colleagues and allow you to sit down. Let's give him one more round of applause, please.